Kirby games are easy, this is well known, but what I really like about them is that they aren't easy because the levels are simple, they're easy because Kirby is overpowered. Scared of that gap? You just fly over it. If there's an enemy in the way, you press this button, and regardless of your ability, it'll probably work out. But this got me thinking, what if we took another platformer character, say Mario, and put him into Kirby's world? How would he perform? Would it even be possible? Well, to find out, I would need to be able to mod the game, and I struggle to even put texture packs in Minecraft, so I don't think that's an option. However, we have the next best thing. In Kirby Star Allies, there are the Dream Friends, characters from past games made playable. Among these are Rick, Kine, and Ku. But let's get rid of these two. We only care about Rick because he can do this. Just like Mario. So, yeah, this is now Mario. Say hi to Mario. He's gained a bit of weight, but he can still run, jump, and stomp enemies. A quick disclaimer, I did guest star instead of the actual story mode since the only way to play as Mario in story mode is to ride on his back, and taking damage causes you to fall off, and then Mario starts to cheat on his own. Speaking of cheating, let's go over the rules. Mario can walk, run, jump, stomp, and wall jump. Mario cannot fly. He cannot breathe fire, turn into a rock, or anything with the B button. Mario can make friends, but only if absolutely necessary, and he has to get rid of them as soon as he can. And absolutely no friends in boss rooms. Mario can slide, but only to break blocks. Alright then, let's go! Now, because we're doing guest star mode, some of the levels look a bit different. The first area, for example, here is completely flat and poses no challenge. It's actually the second area that we see our first big obstacle. Since these levels were designed for Rick, Kine, and Ku, I guess they wanted to show off that Ku can fly, but since we're Mario, we run into an issue. We can wall jump up to this platform, but then get stuck. So, second room and the run's already dead. Oh well. If it's any consolation, we can get up to this platform with this guy. That's pretty cool. Wait. And so Hoot the Owl flies ahead to clear the way, allowing Mario to wall jump up. From there, we still need to breathe fire. Fire flower! And then we still need to fly to go up here. After that, though, the room's done, and we can move on. So, yeah, we did kind of just cheat a lot, but Mario was able to find enough tools to get through. After that, it's pretty smooth sailing for the next few rooms. We jump on some bad guys, run from D's balls. There's this section which normally asks you to make 3 friends and light the fuse, but you can also just walk this way, you know, in case you couldn't figure out the puzzle. The next room has a friends platform, though, so we need friends for this. When the friend train section is done, we find out that you can't actually make this jump, but since you just finished the train section, we can use a friend for a quick boost. And then we kill everybody. Next up is our first boss fight against Wispy Woods. Since our only way to deal damage is with stomping, we have to be careful about how we approach. But for phase 2, it gets difficult. Ta-da! Nothing of interest happens until you reach King Dedede. Phase 1 isn't very difficult, we just need to keep jumping on him, and the hitbox is super forgiving. You'd think you'd need to watch out for his jump attack, but he just kind of phased through me, so I don't know. Phase 2 does ask you to be a little more careful. You first need to break down these walls by jumping next to them, which works somehow. Dedede jumps around a lot, but just wait and he leaves plenty of openings to hit him. And with that, level 1 is done. How did I get a new best time? Level 2 immediately gives us a dilemma. We have to go into the water here, which isn't something Mario can't do, but doing it here turns him into a fish. I decided it would be fine as long as they don't attack, kinda like how swimming works in Mario 64. And as soon as I thought I had everything figured out, the next area has an ambush, which requires you to defeat all enemies. Once again, I have to break the rules. It is possible to trade damage with enemies by running into them, but Mario doesn't have enough health to do that. Oh well, we'll just have to exclude a few water areas from the run. Mini boss! In the next area, we can avoid having to break a crate by wall jumping over, but we have to break the second one and wait for this burning Leo, who is so painfully slow. Oh my god! Hurry up, thank you! Why are there 2? But we can just kill this one outright, so it's okay. The The wind is too strong to get over to the third area, but we need to go in anyways since the door appears here. Eventually. Once it works its way around. Any second now. There, okay. The next room has an ambush in it, and if you haven't noticed, I'm pretty low on HP, so... Puzzle piece or kill? Kill. Always kill. The next room has a friend platform, but since it's a friend bridge, we can just skip it and jump over the room it unlocks, killing this innocent bystander along the way. The fire area, however, is quite a challenge. First, we damage boost to get over this wall. I know I flapped here, but I somehow didn't catch it. I promise you, it's possible without the flap. Just forgive me this once. We then friend this guy here, control him with the second controller, and then kill ourselves. Since having a friend revive us puts us back to half health, allowing us to damage boost up the second wall. After killing ourselves again to heal, we can actually avoid having to damage boost on the third wall by disconnecting the second controller, allowing us to jump off. And actually it doesn't avoid the damage boosting, but it looks a lot cooler. The CPU actually died here, but it's fine since by connecting the player 2 controller you can just create a new friend anyways, and damage boosting with player 2 lets us finally leave this room. Pretty normal stuff for the next few rooms. Had a difficult fight section. I was low on HP, but fortunately Mario found a question block with a healing item inside. Apparently you can jump off of these things? I mean, I guess Mario can do this, so it's not that weird, I think? Then there's another water fight section. I just kind of held this button and let it work itself out. But of course there's two of them. After that I did this jump that definitely wasn't necessary, but it was really cool. Up next is a super intense fighting section. These guys show up and you just can't rush them or you'll get hit like I did. Instead, you want to wait until they throw a hammer and then jump off of it to get above them. Then a bunch of guys just keep spawning. The ground is death, so just avoid it. Stay calm and it'll be fine. The reward is healing though, so it all works out. Phase 1 is pretty straightforward, you just keep jumping on him. But he does move a lot, so sometimes he'll fall off, but it's not that difficult. Phase 2 is pretty much the same, except with 2 Meta Knights, which honestly just means there's more things to jump on. When Meta Knight throws down rocks, you can actually just break them in time to hit the second Meta Knight, but he flies away at the last second! But it's okay, because you can just hit him afterwards. And that's level 2 done. I got another high score! The next area is the Jam Bastion, and I'd just like to show off this cool save real quick. Okay, this is one of those areas made specifically for Rick, Kine, and Koo, but this section is really cool because it focuses on the Stomp ability, a section actually made for the challenge we're doing. Oh my god, I love this section. We get to use our abilities in a section built with the ability in mind. Oh, this is great. After that, we get to fight Pon and Con. Pon and Cone? I don't know. The arena makes this fight a bit difficult at first. It looks like you can only attack when they're under a gap in the platform, so you can actually drop through them to get a quick stomp off. The second phase is pretty much the same, just with more guys to watch out for, and soon enough, it's done. After that, there's a section with these electric saw blades, but of course, you can just jump on them, unless you're like me, aka dumb. The first of the Mage Sisters, Francisca, is next, and she's the first boss that acts as a real challenge. She actually has attacks that hit above her, meaning you have to be careful when jumping on her. Combined with the fact that she floats, you really have to commit when you want to attack. And even if you wait out her attacks, she often flies away right after, sometimes staying in places you can't even reach. After this water gun attack, you can jump up to deal a bit of easy damage, but this is the only point in the fight where she stays still at all. After hitting enough straight hits though, the fight's over and we can move on. Immediately afterwards, we're thrown into the Flamberge fight. This fight's a lot easier compared to the previous one. What?! What?! Oh hey, it spawned me in this room, which you otherwise wouldn't see it unless you're bad and died like me. That's actually kinda cool, I guess. Anyways, Flamberge stays low to the ground and doesn't hit above herself, despite what it looks like, so this part's a lot easier. There's a few parts where you have to wait, but it's overall a pretty easy fight. After that's a combat section, followed by a combat section, followed by a mini-boss. This next section is actually pretty fun because it's actually kind of challenging, but in a way you would expect from like a more traditional Mario level. as opposed to being challenging because they're unable to use basic mechanics. What's in here? Never mind. We have to make friends for a friend train section again. Fun fact, this is my favorite room in the entire run because you can do this. I just think it's kind of funny. Zan Partisan is next. She also doesn't hit above herself, and you can jump up on top of her during this attack, and there's really not much to talk about this fight, honestly. I just kinda won. So that's level 3. I must free him. Now, together we ride! Okay then. I was able to get to the secret area, which wasn't challenging at all. I got really close to beating the mini-boss at the end of it, but misinput the B button, so I had to restart. So going through this area 3 times now, after beating the boss, the reward was not really anything I wanted. But it was fun, so I guess it wasn't all that bad. Mario, watch out for the bombs! No! Teach me your secrets. Hey, it's Wispy Woods again. But then we have to fight Yiggy Woods, a stronger version of Wispy Woods. Oh, wait, no, I wasn't supposed to take damage. Okay. The next area is a water level, so I really don't want to talk about it. Goldon and Silvox are pretty much the same as Pon and Con, just with more platforms during stage 2, so they're not too challenging. The area after these has 3 blocks blocking our path. We can't break them with a slide, and our Stomp doesn't work either. Seemingly stuck, I tried making friends with the guys who spawn here to see if they would do anything to help. Come on, do something. Maybe if I hold up. Wait! That worked! Yes! But then we need to hit the B button to get out. So while we did break the blocks, Mario is now confined to this curling stone prison for all of eternity. Fortunately, this is only the first room since the checkpoint, so I just backed out and tried again. This time only friendly than Uncle Joe, since he can throw us extremely violently. Although aiming it was a bit tough. Eventually we got this to happen, and while Mario's too fat to fit on 1 block gaps, he creates just enough of a gap to break the rest with a slide. You can tell I was happy to actually get past this. Oh, hold on, wait, no, I don't like this. I don't like this. Oh, that worked out. This section normally wants you to use friend abilities to clear out groups of enemies, but I don't wanna. The only way I could figure out how to get past these guys is to damage boost. I almost got past this part without taking damage, but hopping on the guy below knocks me into the guy above me. And then there's this part. And I died a few times. Eventually, after meticulously killing off each enemy, I was able to slide into a crate and move on. Ice level. It sure is! We then have a rematch with Francisca. Like before, she covers above herself really well. Here I tried to run, but only got to walk. That's right, it's my controller's fault I died, not mine. But for the most part, this fight plays out the same. You wait politely for her to finish her attack, and then you jump on her head. And hey, I ended up dodging this attack finally. Normally you have to wait out this part, but I did a gamer jump and ended the fight early. This area is pretty fun. If you just wait, the enemies kill themselves. I was just kiting these guys around because it was funny, but then they gave up, tried to fly off, but hit spikes and died anyways. These guys seem like they would be an issue, but as it turns out, you can just jump into them to damage them. This isn't even a Mario only thing. Kirby can do this too. He's got a tough head. You can even knock them into the spikes. Also, this guy is really bad at teleporting. Krako's next, and while you'd think he'd be difficult to fight since he floats, no, you can just jump up there. And even if you couldn't, he swoops down, allowing you to hitch a ride for a ton of free damage. But then they go to phase 2, and just become bigger targets to stomp on. I don't even know how I managed to stay on for so long here. Krako seems like he'd be difficult, but he's really not. And that's level 4, 1 more to go. After surviving an extinction event, we rematch Flamberge. I dodged this fireball by not dodging it and actually just jumping into it. This fight's pretty much the same as last time, there's no real differences in strategies at all. Then there's a water level. Great. Afterwards is this mini boss fight that always kills me even in normal guest star runs, and as it turns out, adding an arbitrary challenge does not make it easier. Having full HP makes it pretty easy though. This part is pretty stressful. You have to defeat everything before the walls crush you. Mario's more than capable of killing everything, but it's difficult with such a cramped area, especially when enemies require multiple hits to defeat. All of this is topped off with a mini boss at the end, but the fight's not that bad. This part requires Mario to make friends, but there's not much more to talk about besides that. It's just kind of sitting around waiting on the CPU. One last friend train before the end! Once again, we can't make the jump to the door and have to piggyback off of a friend. Weird how friend trains seem to have that at the end.
There are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Mario has finally made it to the last level of the run, a remake of Dark Castle from Dreamland 2. This part has a lot of one-tile wide platforms that are really annoying to climb, and I mean a lot of them. Eventually we get to this area that has blocks that we need to break. Obviously we can't break the ice, but we're not even able to break the normal blocks since the slide doesn't reach. I remembered seeing a broom hatter earlier in the level which has an ability similar to the one we used to get past this part. So I reset. Oh, you're back?
What are we going to do?
I did the whole level again, got to the part where I was stuck, and realized I forgot the broom hatter. Then I noticed there was one right here, so it was fine. And then I realized that meant I never needed to reset in the first place. I'm an idiot, and I wasted so much time. Anyways, I climbed back up and held up to get him to use the ability, and he put me back into Curling Stone Purgatory! Ah! When you try to get CPU allies to use abilities, they have a priority list that they follow, and unfortunately putting Mario into prison is higher on that list than using the vacuum. So instead, I used a player 2 controller to make him use the vacuum. But we need to press B to throw, which we can't do. I then had the 200 IQ idea to disconnect the player 2 controller so that the CPU would throw me on its own, breaking the blocks and letting us through. Unfortunately, this is the bad door, so we have to go through a bunch of bad guys instead of prizes, but by far the worst part was not being able to go into the bonus room. I just wanted the happy music! We've made it to the final battle. The first fight is a rematch with Zan Partisan. Like the other sisters, her rematch is largely the same. Doesn't cover above her, moves around a lot, but stays still for a lot of damage during phase 2. I'm fine. Next is Highness, and he killed me because I was low on HP. Fortunately, we don't need to refight Zan, and just skip straight to Highness. He sits low enough to jump onto, and while he does move around, he sits still for long enough to get good damage off. I couldn't figure out how to dodge this lightning attack, but most of his attacks are avoidable as long as you're not greedy. You can avoid the wheel attack by jumping on it, unless you're like me. You can then jump up to damage him while he's vulnerable. I thought the cocoon phase would be annoying, but I blinked and he died. I don't know why that broke it so fast. The final boss then is Morpho Knight. He fights similar to Meta Knight, except he's stronger and he teleports around. He isn't too keen on attacking above himself though. There are a few attacks that we have to wait out, but there's also some where he just stays in one place for a long time, letting you rack up a lot of damage. It's almost anticlimactic, really. While the fight is long and pretty fun, it's honestly not all that hard. Well, I guess that's the end. We did it. Mario beat Kirby Star Allies. Guest star mode. Excluding the water sections. And that one room. Okay, so maybe this run wasn't perfect, but you know what? It was fun. It was fun making this video, too. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is my first time trying this type of video out, so I want to know what you guys think. I don't think I'll do this type of video too often, but if you guys want more, I'll see what I can come up with. I think I'll end the video with some outtakes from when I was recording the script. And while he does move around, he sits still long enough to get the good... Cannot talk, I want to talk. Since our only way to deal damage is I can't talk! I suck! Phase 1 isn't that difficult. We just need to keep jumping on him and I give up talking. I give up. I give up. Why? I just can't talk. Talk hard. Talk very hard. Up next, it's a super Sometimes I wish I could talk. My throat hurts now. I shouldn't have done that. There's a few parts where you have to wait, but talk hard.